Hello and welcome. We are back. Sorry for the short hiatus, but we are back. AFI's cover 7. We're going to touch on week 3, some takeaways from another wild weekend in the ELF, and of course, look ahead to week 4. Daniel, looking back at week 3, give me. I know you have your takeaways article, which the people will, I'm sure, have already read when this comes out. But what are some of your takeaways from last weekend?
There was a whole lot of points scored. A whole lot of points. Leipzig Kings scored 47 points.
Wow.
I don't think that's happened in league history. Vienna Vikings put up 70 points, 69 points, 70 points on Prague. That's insane. What is going on? I'm not sure, but it's a lot of points, which actually makes a better football as a fan anyway. It's more enjoyable to watch. And as the weeks go on, the league is getting more interesting and more fun. So I'm all for it.
Yeah, a lot of points. Well, why don't we start there? Vikings, they are who we thought they were. 69 points. They dominate the Prague Lions at home. Are they still maybe your number 1 or number 2 contender?
No, maybe number 2. Yeah, I don't think they're my number 1 contender. I think Ryan Fire will hold that spot. But Vienna almost lost to Berlin last week. Very, very close. It was a field goal, last minute field goal by Vienna. They're a great team. Running up the score on Prague, which they obviously did.
Yeah.
What they got to 50 points, they knew they were going to win the game. So what are you guys doing? They're trying to prove a point, right? And that when you're trying to prove a point, it shows you're a bit insecure.
Oh.
No, so yeah, I think they're still a great team. Number 2, 3 team easily.
Yeah. Another team that might be in the 2 and 3. The Stuttgart Surge win convincingly, hosting the Milano Seamen. I personally, this game went kind of how I expected it to. The Surge put up a lot of points. Their defense gave up some points, but I think that might be the story of Milan this season. Luke Zaraka, maybe one of the best quarterbacks in this league. He's going to put up 3 or 4 touchdowns a game, but is their defense going to be able to stop the better teams in the league?
100%, you're right. Right now, the Milano Seamen are rotating DBs like crazy. It's absolutely insane. They really need to find their identity. Really need to figure out what's going on. They do have good players, but they're not utilizing them. They have a good DB in Daniel Manning. So yeah, not sure what's going on there.
Yeah. Speaking of Milano Seamen, a former Milano Seaman, Markel Castle had 242 yards on 9 catches and 4 touchdowns as the Ravens put it on the guards 39-10. I'm really impressed with this Ravens team. I think they're fun to watch. And I want to see them play some tough competition and see if they can look better than they did in week 1.
Yeah, realistically, they've only played one good team. They lost against Swaco, right? Against the Raiders Tyrol. They came out swinging, put some points up, got up early, but they couldn't hang with the Raiders, and Raiders overtook them in the second half and made it like a convincing win. Apart from that, they've beaten Throners, right?
Yeah.
And the Guards. Those aren't good teams at all.
No.
But Chad Jeffries is playing really well. Markel Kals was playing really well. The team as a whole seems to be gelling more so than any other new team in the league. So, yeah, good on them. But like you said, let's wait. They're playing Surge next week, so that'll be their first or their second test.
Yeah, you mentioned the Leipzig Kings scoring 47 points against Ian Throner's team that doesn't look very good right now. Credit to the Kings. They're 2-1, playing some good football at this point. Maybe surprising some people.
Yeah, 2-1 is a great start, better than they've started probably since they came into the league. Do you know what I mean? And it's realistically, it's all about your standings at the end of the year. And if you've got an easier schedule, because you're playing Throners twice, take your wins where you can get them. Do you know what I mean? And like you said, good on Kings for putting a game. They got slaughtered by the Panthers last week, came back swinging, 47 points on the Throners. Good job. I don't think they're going to compete in the postseason. I don't think they've got the depth of talent to do so. But yeah, they're making a run in the regular season, so good on them.
That's right. Yeah, speaking of the Raiders there, the Raiders got a big win against the Barcelona Dragons last week. It was the battle of 2 undefeated teams, 2-0 teams playing each other. Has the Dragons hype died?
I don't think that hype's died, but Theo Landstrom got schemed against and didn't really do much in that game. And when Theo Landstrom doesn't do much for the Dragons, the Dragons' offense doesn't do much full stop. The Raiders, as we've seen, are a deep, deep team, really talented. Christian Strong is playing out of his socks. So yeah, I think they're one of the best teams. There you go.
Raiders, baby.
One of the best teams in the league. And they proved it there by beating a good Dragons team.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with the Raiders. They are playing a lot better than I thought they would at the preseason. A team playing a little bit worse than I thought they were did get a win, their first win of the season last weekend. Hamburg Sea Devils beat the Cologne Centurions 34-17. It was kind of a sloppy game, in my opinion. I don't think Hamburg leaves that thinking they're a contender. Cologne just announced their new quarterback, of course, after this game. Judd Erickson coming in. Big guy, 6'4", 230. Played at Colorado State, was a backup, and then ended up playing one season at University of San Diego, and had some cups of coffee in the CFL.
Yeah, and according to the Elf article, turned down the Denver Broncos. I don't know how true that is. Maybe there's a typo in the article, but in the article it said he said no to the Denver Broncos and yes to the CFL.
I think it was CFL offered him a contract. Broncos offered him mini camp.
That's a harder decision to make. If that is the case, that is a harder decision to make. But he didn't. He left the CFL very quickly anyway. So
yeah, well, we'll see how he does. So I'm always interested to see these guys coming. Like he was just in CFL camp, right? And now he's coming to the Cologne Centurions.
Which is not. When you got Terry Robinson, Terry Robinson's a baller, absolute baller. But the rest of your team is struggling a bit, if we're honest.
I'm just always interested to see these guys when they come to Europe for the first time. How do they handle it?
Yeah.
Because guess what? No one's going to do your laundry here. No one is doing these little things to make life easier. You got to kind of do it yourself. You probably have to call your own place. You're probably the OC and the QB. You're doing a lot. Maybe not in Cologne. I know they have a great coordinator, but yeah, sink or swim a bit.
No, 100%. And I think Cologne, to be honest, even though they've lost 2 games, I think they should actually be quite happy with their performance.
Yeah,
I think they were ranked really low coming into the season.
Was it you that ranked them low?
Anyway, so yeah, they've done really well. I think they've overachieved, which is great for them. They have made plays, they've kept games tight where they could. And yeah, so Dylan Jacobs maybe was a problem. Jeremy, maybe he was one of the reasons they were losing. So losing the 2 games, they lost the game today as well, or on the weekend as well. Sorry. And so yeah, bringing a new quarterback might change things around. But for Hamburg, I'd be, like you said, I wouldn't be too happy. I think Preston Hare, as good as he's looked with his legs, his arm has been a bit inconsistent. He threw a pick 6 like a D lineman, I think, on the screen in that Cologne game.
Oh yeah, I saw
it. Yeah, so
I thought Malik Stanley would be a bigger impact player. I think he could show up later in the season. You know, we're only 3 games in, but I know Hamburg Sea Devils fans are kind of wanting more from him. He was such a baller for Roselaw last year. I can imagine he was quite sought after on the market.
Yeah, I think he's a great receiver. I just think it's those issues that Hamburg continue to have through the air that is just preventing any consistency, any fluidity, any like rhythm in the offense. You know what I mean? So
yeah, absolutely. Malik Stanley's old team took an L to a team that I know you're feeling right now, the Thunder, the Berlin Thunder. Big win, 36-27 over the Roslav Panthers. Tell me how you're feeling about the Thunder.
Yeah, I think that scoreline makes the game seem closer than it was. I think Berlin actually dominated that game throughout. They absolutely smothered Matthew Vitale. Donovan Ism had his first breakout game of the year, a game we were all waiting for, with massive help from his receivers, obviously Robin Wilczek. Yak King, this guy can absolutely destroy secondaries. He's so fast. Great receiver. He's obviously got 2 other great receivers in Aaron Jackson and Max Zimmerman. And yeah, so I think it was a 4 touchdown, 300-yard game, something like that from Ism. Compared to what he did in the first 2 weeks, and against a good Panthers team, right? They went toe-to-toe with Vienna last week, almost beat them, and then gave a whipping, despite what the scoreline says, to the Panthers. So yeah, I think Berlin are the darkest of horses this year, and I really do think they're going to surprise some people in the postseason.
Moving up your power rankings.
They were quite humble rankings. They were 6 already, so.
Oh, wow. So now top 5, would you say?
Maybe.
All right. We'll have to wait for his article. Then, of course, the game that everyone was waiting for this weekend, the Rhine Fire, put up 58 points, winning 58-28 in an absolute barn burner in front of 7,000 fans against the Paris Musketeers. I was watching this game kind of half-heartedly, and it was like a touchdown every few minutes. It was wild. There were wide open touchdowns for the Rhine Fire. Paris, you could tell they have talent, but they just don't seem to be putting it together yet. Maybe it's still early. I'm not going to give up on them, but yeah, you want more of a team play through and through from all 11 guys, especially on defense if you're Paris.
Yeah, they were just frankly outclassed by Rhine Fire. They looked better in every single phase of the game. Jadrian Clark, 8 touchdowns.
Do we owe him an apology?
Yes.
For context, we ranked him. We'll put it right there in the video. We ranked him number 11 in our preseason quarterbacks out of 17. And yeah, we are eating our words. This is official apology.
Official apology.
From AFI's Cover 7.
Sorry, Jadrian.
I'm sorry,
You
Jadrian.
are really good.
8 touchdowns.
Yeah, 8 touchdowns. No, I mean, yeah, and he's obviously, I'm not going to take anything away from him, but he's playing on a great team as well. Yeah. You know what I mean? So he's able to succeed on a great team. He's playing really well with great players around him. And yeah, he's just looks the Rhine Fire. I don't know who can beat the Rhine Fire at the moment. They look way more dominant than the Vikings did last year.
Have they hit their stride too early?
That's a great question.
Because it's week 4, and they got a marathon ahead of them.
Yeah.
Keep your eyes peeled on that.
Yeah, but Paris, yeah, just struggling to find their groove. I think, yeah, of all the newcomers, they are by far the biggest underperformers. Considering the depth of talent they have, everyone ranked them so highly. They've got great coaches, great players. So yeah, it's just such a surprise that they're not doing this. I think O-line has been a real sticking point for them. Zach Edwards has no time to throw the ball. He is flying out of the pocket every single play, just trying to make plays with his legs and his arm instead of any sort of timing and drop back passing and pocket passing.
It's always easy to blame the O-line.
Oh my God.
Something goes wrong. The O-line is.
It is the O-line.
Maybe it is this time.
This time it is. I never blame the O-line, but this time it's definitely the O-line. Definitely the O-line. But if your boy Keanu Ebanks comes next week, that's only 1 of 5, but I'm sure it will help a lot. I'm sure he's going to be a leader on that line as well. Yeah.
Keanu Ebanks, for context, spent the last year and a half with the Calgary Stampeders in the CFL. He's a former Hamburg Sea Devils offensive lineman who now has signed with Paris. And yeah, he could be a really good left tackle. He's a great leader and a guy that I hope can suit up soon. But with that being said, Daniel, we've covered week 3. Let's move on to week 4. Starting off with the Saturday slate, we got 4 games on Saturday. Why don't we kick it off with Paris, continuing the conversation there. They traveled to Frankfurt. This game is very intriguing to me. And I think it's because we got 2 really exciting QBs to watch. Zach Edwards and Jacob Sullivan, 2 athletic quarterbacks, and 2 guys who are looking to pick it up after a slow start to the season.
Both been in the league since year 1. Don't forget, they've been around for a while, right? Zach Edwards with Dragons' first 2 years. Jacob has been with Frankfurt since the beginning of the season. Obviously won the title in his first year. Didn't play too well last year, and there's a lot of injuries going on. This year, he's already missed a game due to injury as well.
That's right, yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know what's going on there. I think as the Paris team have been underperforming, I also think the Frankfurt team are underperforming. I think they've got an amazing defense that just doesn't seem to be as stingy as we thought it would be. But yeah, it should be a good game.
Yeah, I hope Jacob Sullivan can play. We know he missed last week, and German QB came in, young guy, forgetting his name right now, but a 20-year-old, ended up getting the win in Hungary. So impressive showing for the backup there. Anyway, I'd love to see a great duel between Sullivan and Edwards in that one. I'll definitely be tuning in. Another game, we don't have to spend a lot of time on this. The Vikings play the Leipzig Kings. I like the mascot matchup there, Vikings versus Kings. But I don't like the matchup on the field if I'm a Leipzig fan. Vikings are gonna maybe not score 60 points, but they'll be putting up another 40 or 50 burger.
Yeah, I mean, Vikings, it looks like they want to run the score up on teams. I'm not sure why. And they'll probably do the same against Leipzig. So is that Vienna? Yeah, good luck, Leipzig.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, so another team looking to bounce back, the Wrocław Panthers host the Enthroners. I don't know what to make of this game. I imagine the Panthers are looking to get back to their winning ways against a lost Enthroners team right now.
Yeah, they are just, they're lost in the elf. I think they've maybe bitten off more than they can chew. It doesn't seem, it's not like Paris where you've got the talent, but things aren't kind of clicking. Enthroners just look like they don't have the team to play in elf at the moment. Unfortunately, I know it's probably quite harsh to say that, but I think that's what it looks like right now. And I think Wrocław, after losing to Berlin, are going to come out at home looking to prove, hey, look, we are still a good team, and they're going to run it up as well. I think they're going to run it up.
Look for the Barlovsky, the guy who ran for 220 yards last week.
22 years old, running back for Wrocław.
Yeah, I think he'll have a big day against the Throners.
I agree.
Look out for him. Another homegrown guy showing out. The last game, the Saturday night game, Barcelona always has the night games. I like that. Barcelona hosting the Munich Ravens. I like this game. Why do you like this game?
I like this game because it's two teams that love to throw the ball and score points. Theo Lanstra and Markel Castle. It's going to be a fun game, a really fun game to watch. I think they're pretty evenly matched as well. And I think Ravens, we're still not sure what to expect to raise after their first loss to the Raiders in week 1. And so now it's a team that they're maybe a bit more on level pegging with. And so we'll see how good the Ravens are coming to week 4.
Yeah, both teams have only lost to the Raiders. So we'll see how that goes. It's kind of a battle of dark horses there, I would say. Maybe this could be a 5th, 6th seed matchup going forward. So love that game. Love the atmosphere in Barcelona on Saturday night. Moving on to Sunday afternoon. Helvetic Guards just lost to the Munich Ravens. Now they travel to Italy, to Milan, to play Milano Seaman. Daniel, you are very in touch with the Italian scene there. I know they just lost to the Surge. This is kind of a must-win game for Milan.
Without that, a must-win game. And not even necessarily because of the standings, just for your pride, right? This is your first year in Elf and you still haven't won a game, and you've played Dragons, and that should have been a winnable game.
Yeah.
They need to sort their defense out. It's just not look good at all. Offensively, I think Luke's still doing some great things. I think they know they're on offense and they've done a great job already, but defensively they need to sort themselves out. They need to stop rotating players. Like every time someone gets beat, they decide to rotate a man in. It's just not how football. Do you know what I mean? I'm not defensive coordinator, I don't know, but it just doesn't seem that that's the solution, right?
You'd only do that if you were very deep, right? Yeah. Which, especially as a defensive back in Europe, your room is probably not that deep.
Never deep.
Yeah.
So but I think they in a good position to win the game though. I think Helvetic have struggled at every level, every phase of the game. And I think Milano will win this game.
Yeah, I think Silas Nicita will make some big plays, but I don't see him getting a win.
Jordan Barlow should be playing as well.
Yeah. He'll play. He played last week, so this will be his second game with the team.
Yeah.
We'll see. Maybe it's a little better, but it's tough on 1 week's notice.
Yeah, because Silas was playing a lot of quarterback last week as well.
Yeah. Then we got another 12 o'clock game. Huge game. Raiders at the Stuttgart Surge. To me, this is the game of the weekend, the game everyone will be watching. Christian Strong and the Red Hot Raiders visit the Surge team that is also undefeated. I can't wait for this one.
Agreed. I think Raiders, like you said, are red hot at the moment, and they are one of the better teams. I think Surge is slowly building. And I feel confident now. I think Jordan Newman, head coach of the Surge, knows what he's doing. I think it's a brand new team, right? They've been put together. So I think he's taking it step by step and fixing the problems as they come up, and planning for the future. So I think that team is slowly getting better, and I think this is a great opportunity for them to test themselves against a really good team.
So who are you picking?
I think I'm going to pick the Raiders. I think if these teams meet again later in the season, which I think they do, then I would take the Surge. But I think right now Raiders are too good.
Yeah, this was what we were talking about in all our preseason predictions. Were these two for this conference? Who's going to win it? Yeah, we'll see. I love Jordan Newman. He's a great coach. This is going to be a fantastic game. Personally, I'm going to take the Surge just because they're at home. But I see why you take the Raiders. I think it's a coin toss. Then we got your boys in Berlin traveling to Hamburg. We know how you feel about Berlin. We kind of know how you feel about Hamburg. Are you taking the Thunder to win against the two-time vice champions?
I'm taking Berlin to win against the 1 and 2 Hamburg team, 100%.
Whoa.
I think Hamburg, what they were last year and the year before, they are not that this year, which is surprising because their roster and their coaching staff seems to be the same, if not better.
Yeah.
So I have no idea what is going on in Hamburg. I genuinely can't figure out. I watch the games, they just look a bit sloppy. The defense isn't as fierce as it was last year.
Yeah.
I just don't know what's going on. But yeah, Berlin, red hot. I think if we get the same performance out of Donovanism that we got last week against the Raw Store, then it's I think a comfortable win for Berlin.
Comfortable win.
Comfortable win.
Wow. Okay. I'm taking Hamburg personally. I think they're going to get their stuff together and win at home against a Thunder team that has flashed some things that make me excited about them, but they haven't proven it to me yet.
Did you see him against Warsaw?
Yes, I did.
Didn't prove it?
No, didn't prove it to me.
Fair enough.
Yeah, if they beat Hamburg, I'm all in on Thunder.
400 yards, four touchdowns doesn't prove it to you?
Nope.
Okay. 8.
Kyle Kitchens.
J.J. Clark has raised it now. It has to be 8 touchdowns or nothing.
Yeah, if Kyle Kitchens can impact the game, which I'm sure he will, that could be a game record. Like Preston Hare as an athletic QB, if he can't just get the edge, like at will, basically, like he does it on some teams, that could be a difference maker. Then we got the final game of the weekend, the red hot, sizzling Ryan Fire take on the Cologne Centurions with their new quarterback. Yeah, this one could get ugly, folks. New quarterback. I like Cologne's defense, but the Ryan Fire offense is an unstoppable train that you don't want to get in the way of.
Yeah, I think Cologne and Paris is week one showed you are actually quite similar in terms of strength. I feel like it was a very close game, and I feel like what we saw from Paris and from Ryan Fire this weekend, we're going to see. Last weekend, we're going to see again in Cologne coming weekend. We're going to get another 58-20 scoreline. Will
Jadrian Clark throw for 10 touchdowns?
You could do. You could do.
Yep, there you have it. We're picking the Ryan Fire to beat Cologne for the final game of week 4. We recapped week 3. We have our predictions for week 4. Daniel's put out some great articles this week on his takeaways and his previews, so make sure to check them out. And guys, if you made it to this point in the video, thank you for supporting us. We're glad to be back covering the ELF, and make sure to like and subscribe and stay tuned for our next episode. Please be recording. Good.